You're listening to the Business Essentials Daily Summer Series, the best episodes of 2020. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. Websites might be ubiquitous, but too many businesses take them for granted. A website is the face of your business, and it should take people on a journey. I know, eye roll, but it's true. If you send people through a maze or round in circles, you'll lose them, and potential revenue at that. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. How do you make your website your best salesperson? Well, it's all a magical mix between human psychology and technology, according to Erwin Howe of website development company Chromatics. Erwin's been helping businesses create engaging, conversion-driven websites for more than a decade. As a digital whiz and user behaviour specialist, he knows how to entice customers to buy. He also knows the turn-offs that in a matter of moments will drive customers off one website and possibly straight to a competitor's site instead. To add to Erwin's experience in this area, and a little left field, he also has a side interest as a playing card illusionist, and we'll find out why that helps later. First question from Heather Dawson: if our websites don't inspire customers to buy, what are the big mistakes we're making?
Lots of doozies. The big common ones, they're too texty. Too many words. No one wants to read that much text. As users, we're quite lazy. And there's two types we've found, what we call swimmers and skimmers. And the truth is a lot of us are skimmers. We just want to just quickly go through, browse, yep, tick, and away we go. So texty websites just don't work. So that's one. Second, the site's not personalised. You're using stock images and images that are used by your competitors as well. It doesn't look realistic. So definitely want to personalise those photos. That's another big one. Next one is maybe an unclear user journey. See, you're here to take someone through a journey on your website. You know, it's not like walking to a shopping centre going, there's everything, now go find what you're looking for. You actually want to guide someone. And the truth is, if someone goes to the search bar, in some ways it's sometimes a good guide that your navigation isn't working, that people actually don't know what to do. So they are, in the same way if you go into a shopping centre, if you go straight for the help desk, sometimes it just shows that the layout isn't good. So that's a nice little analogy there for you. And the last two really are site speeds. No one wants to sit there and wait for a website to load. That's a big common one. And not knowing how to contact the company. You need a phone number, an email, or a location, something just to make it work. So yeah, they're the kind of common usual suspects.
So you come at it from a human psychology point of view,
Yes.
Erwin. Taking human psychology into account, then how do you create a more engaging website? And do you like to use the analogy of meeting your wife?
Yes. So I'll tell you the story of how I met my wife. It was 13 years ago. I was sitting in a cafe and she walked through the door and she got my attention. She had her swooshy hair, as she does and stuff, walking almost in that slow-mo kind of state. And as she came to the table, she introduced herself. I said, "Hi, my name's Erwin. This is what I do. I used to be an illusionist. I run business," all that sort of stuff. As we were talking, she goes, "Oh, that's really fascinating. Who have you performed for? What work have you done before?" And we kind of unpacked it and went into the details. The food came, the wine came. It was fantastic. It was really lovely. And at the end of the day, I mustered up the courage to say, "Would you like to go out on a second date? Would you like to go out again with me?" and stuff like that. It's a bit of a chuckle and good memories. The truth is the analogy of this is partly true, but the psychology remains the same. See, what I told you is actually very natural, building rapport at the start, the feeling side, then going through the facts, and then me taking action to ask. And so what we've done, using this analogy, have demonstrated that there are actually 5 key areas, what we call our 5 C's conversion framework, that actually gets higher user engagement. We call it our 5 C's.
Tell us about your 5 C's.
Yeah. So to take that whole story that I just told you, we can break into 3 parts, if you want, which is feeling, fact, and action. But the 5 C's stands for capture, clarity, content, credibility, and close. And if you do those 5 things in order, which is exactly what happened when she captured my attention, we were clear with who we were, We broke it down, which is actually the content. I demonstrated the truth behind each one, because what you say, really, sort of thing, that's the credibility. And at the end, I had to ask for that second date, which is actually the close. And that's our 5 C's from a really top level perspective. And if you follow that, actually, this is an interesting thought. Try changing that order. So imagine she walked in and I said, marry me. Whoa, I think she would have looked at me and said, oh, you're a bit creepy there, sort of thing. That wouldn't have actually worked at all. So number one, you can't change that order. It's a very natural order. Secondly, try missing one. Say she came in and we had a great time and I asked for a second date, but she goes, you didn't even mention who you were. So I didn't catch you. It makes it a bit awkward. So it's ensuring that you have all those elements, doing the right order and having the right amount. I think that's the other way. So yeah, that's a quick one.
Importantly, having this natural rapport that you talk about, Erwin. But what does that really mean in terms of a website, natural rapport?
Yeah. We kind of look at the psychology of how people just do business in general. So when we do business with people, we do business with people that we know, that we like and we trust. That's a natural thing. In person, we can build that rapport. So we've got the eye contact happening. I get to see your body language. I get to use my tone in my voice. But with web, you can't see. You can't hear. I don't get to see the person behind it. There's no feeling. And so what we do is we have to take that science of building rapport, the knowing, liking, trusting, and we actually have to build it into the website, if that makes sense. So we use our 5 C's to then incorporate and build that natural rapport side. If they know who you are, they see value in what you do, they can understand the ROI that they'll receive, and you're actually building great rapport, you actually naturally do business. And so the sites we create are very hard sell, but done in such a soft way that you can't even tell you're being sold to. And that's where we master that artistry of persuasion and psychology and technology combo.
So what are some of the practical steps that business people can take to make their websites their best salesperson?
Yeah. If the 5 C's is a little too hard to remember, we'll just talk about feeling and facts. We need both of them. Always start with feeling. So some practical tips to build feeling. Add real photos. Don't use stock photos. The word personalize has the word person in it, after all. So use real people. Show off your team. You might have a great showroom or a location. Take lots of real photos. Don't use the stock photos. With your text, we talk about being too texty. Why don't you cut it down? What's the key point that you want someone to take away? Highlight that. And perfect design is not when you've finished putting in. It's when you finish taking out. So go through your website and say, number one, would you read it yourself? Would that convince you? And if it doesn't, just get rid of it. You're just taking up valuable real estate online. And I guess that last one is, think about it from the user's perspective. What are they looking for? What problem are you going to solve for them? So don't harp on about yourself and how great you are. You can do it indirectly, but it's more about the user. What are you going to do to help them? And I guess that last one, if I was just throwing a quick bonus, site speeds. No one wants to sit there waiting for 10 seconds, 15 seconds for your site to load. The truth is, no one's going to wait. They're going to jump off and check out your competitor straight away. You might have some great, meaty, juicy gold bits in your site, but if you lose that chance just because you're a little bit slow off the start, then you're going to miss out. So keep that site running quickly and get some good hosting. That's pretty much it.
Where do you get the human psychology bit? And you mentioned earlier on being an illusionist. So how does that fit in?
Yeah, absolutely right. So it all started back in good old 98 when a friend showed me this magic trick, which literally hooked me. But it was actually when I was doing my magic tricks, that's where I kind of to understand that magic tricks was never about quick hands or the gift of the gab or just slight hand skills as such. It was actually always about understanding how other people would work, the human psychology side, and how people would react, what they could see, what they couldn't see, and the mastery of direction. And I know you call it direction because you actually call it misdirection. It's actually the right direction to us, maybe the wrong one for you. It's actually the right one for us. And I think it was through that and understanding how we could control people's attention, and in this case, just for entertainment purposes, we could actually do the same thing with web. Because again, what works for a 7-year-old, 70-year-old speaking English, Chinese, Latin, whatever it is, it still works. As long as you're human, it's all good. And I've seen some people do it on dogs as well, which seems to work as well. But let's just stick with humans for now. It was this that fascinated me. So I kind of blended this with my degree back in the day in the computer science side of things, my master's in advertising, and just this entertainment fun side gave me that gifting of what I do now. That, we kind of don't really have competitors in a very competitive space of web design.
That was Director of Chromatics, Owen Howe. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.